Audio on demand from Vision Christian Media.
Exploring faith and the future. Neil Johnson and Bible teacher Dr. Camille Majdali.
We're talking through the development of Christianity in Europe. Camille, the Bible, what sort of role did the Bible play in the way Christianity has evolved and the way it became truly a stronghold in Europe as a place of Christianity?
That's a wonderful topic, one that I can only address a little bit. Where I am a little more adept is actually talking about the Europe in the Bible, because it's so important to remember that the Bible is a Middle Eastern book, and much of the biblical narrative happened on Middle Eastern soil. So in one sense, we can say it's an Asian book, or even, dare I call it, Oriental book. But once Christ rose from the dead and gave the Great Commission, it was unambiguously a global assignment. Go into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. Or go and teach all nations, make disciples of all nations. Europe, of course, would be one of those destinations. It's amazing because in one sense, from Israel to get to Europe, you normally go by sea, even though it is possible to go by land as well. But it's actually more direct by sea. And we read in the book of Acts, probably, to my knowledge, it's the first time that Europe even comes to the fore. It's not called Europe. It's called Macedonia. Paul has a Macedonian call in Acts 16. Macedonia is on the European continent. He's in Troy, called also Troas. Troy is in northwestern Asia Minor. They're very close. Europe and the Middle East are actually next door neighbors. So there is this cross-pollination, and one of those things happens to do with the scripture. Therefore, the missionary journeys of Paul, starting with the second missionary journey there's 3 missionary journeys plus the journey to Rome in Acts. It's the second one that Paul puts his toe on European soil, and that's when the focus begins.
Is it a problem that Christianity changes from being a Jewish Christianity, from a Jewish Bible, to a European Christianity? Are there lessons to be learned from the changes and the way that culture takes a hold of these elements of faith?
Oh, right. Neil, what I'm about to say, I'm not an expert in, but what I understand is a couple of dynamics happen. The gospel, the pure gospel, the apostolic gospel, spread to Europe, of course, in the New Testament period, and probably after as well, or shortly after. But a couple of factors happened. One of them is, of course, Christianity was an illegal religion under the Roman Empire. And only in the 4th century AD does it become legal and then eventually becomes the state religion. That's one factor. A second factor is that Christianity and the biblical narrative is Hebraic, which means it's very practical, it's very concrete, it's very, in that sense, Aussie, because Aussies are very practical and concrete. So Hebrews and Aussies would have a lot in common. I mean, they probably would have had lifestyle programs too in that day if they could. But Europe, especially under the Greeks, was more philosophical, theoretical, sit around sipping cappuccinos and discussing the latest idea. When that started to happen, they baptized Aristotle and Plato, I think, and they Platonized Christianity, the legal Christianity, and so there came a different interpretation over the years.
Faith and the Future with Neil Johnson and Dr. Camille Majdali from Teach All Nations. For more from Dr. Majdali, including books and DVDs on prophecy, Bible commentaries, plus today's and other episodes of Faith and the Future, go to vision.org.au.
Thanks for taking time to listen to this audio on demand from Vision Christian Media. To find out more about us, go to vision.org.au.